We'll see the first half.
Let's hear the rest of it.
Hey, shut your sorry ass up, I'll eat you up. Shut your sorry ass up. Shut your sorry ass up. You're sorry. It's a waste of my time.
The art of trash talking is exactly that, an art. Having the ability to demoralize an opponent with just a few words, taking them out of their sweet spot during a match, or psyching them out before a match even starts is a skill of itself. If done right, this verbal assault can destroy the hopes of an opponent winning, weakening them mentally for the easy kill. There are countless examples of this in different team sports.
And I think we had that same attitude.
Jordan, a running conversation with Stacey Augmon hits for the...
When you trash talk, yeah, that's a game. It's a game of psyching them.
In different combat sports.
Well, Henry Cooper's nothing but a tramp. He's a bum. I'm the world's greatest. He must fall in 5 rounds, but if you talk about me, I'll cut it 3. Well, after I annihilate this Henry Cooper, I want that bear.
And what's going to happen to him?
Bad.
What's going to happen to him?
He might be great, but he'll fall in 8.
And even esports.
You want to work? How long you playing this game, dog? You want to work? How long you playing this game? You want to work? Shut up! How long? You're wasting your time.
Well, I shouldn't say even esports because I'm sure we've all played online against that annoying trash talker.
You dead? Get out of here!
Although there are multiple physical results seen through successfully talking trash, these results stem from the psychological effects trash talking has on the athlete. What trash talking does psychologically is negatively change athletes' attentional focus. Think of attentional focus like water in a jug. If there's 1 cup to fill, there's most likely going to be enough water in the jug to fill that cup. But with the more cups that need filling, the less likely there'll be enough water in the jug to fill them all. So by having more cups, the amount of focus that can be put into the match decreases, causing poorer decisions to be made and of course a decrease in performance. There's a reason why trash talking is called verbal jabs, as trash talking, like boxing jabs, aren't normally effective just once, but the repetition of jabs is what damages their opponents mentally. And the really good trash talkers know this, and that's why they're constantly barking in the ear of their opponents throughout the match.
I said a lot, Christina. I said a lot of bad things to a lot of guys, and I hurt a lot of guys' feelings, and that was just me. It wasn't personal. It was just something that to get them out of their game.
So nothing was off limits?
Nothing was off limits. I never said, I said anything that I wanted to. I talk about your mother, I talk about your father, I talk about your kids, I talk about your wives.
Kids?
Yeah, I'll say anything to get them mad.
It's interesting watching athletes talk trash, as it's clear that they know it will be effective and that a good trash talker talks trash to someone and does it so many times that their opponent starts talking trash to themselves. But how sports are in this day and time, if you even look at someone funny, you could potentially get in trouble, let alone if you repeatedly talk trash to your opponent. In actuality, from a psychological standpoint, the best way to talk trash to someone isn't just to distract them, but by changing their attentional focus from external to internal. If external focus is the best focus for athletes, internal focus is like their kryptonite, as that means athletes are focusing on individual movements when performing a skill, and that screws up their fluidity of the movement, causing their performance to take a hit. Changing athletes' focus from an external to an internal focus can be done by talking to opponents about specific parts of their technique. For example, in basketball, talking about where their elbow was during their jump shot, or in baseball, talking about their footwork and their throwing technique. This is actually the best way to talk trash, as the effects would be a lot more immediate and long lasting. But if you want to learn more about this and how to constantly have an external focus of attention, or if you're just enjoying this video altogether, subscribe for more content just like this. So for those athletes who are receiving trash talking, don't worry, all hope isn't lost. Although there are multiple negatives, what most people don't fully understand about trash talking is that there are some positives for the person who's receiving it. Trash talking could drastically increase an athlete's self-motivation as they work harder in training to make their opponent eat their words. And that's the thing about trash talking. The main negative effects of trash talking only take place depending on the perception of the athlete. For example, In the 97 Western Conference Finals, a 20-year-old Kobe Bryant tried to take the final moments of the game into his hands, but he ended up airballing 4 shots, causing the Lakers to lose that match and the series. The following days, the media ripped him to shreds, but instead of listening and believing all the negative things that were said, he used it to fuel his motivation, with 5 championships to show for it now. Trash talking only affects performance if the person allows it to, because at the end of the day, trash talking is just a bunch of words. The meaning that's put on it is how it affects the person. And the way for athletes not to fully experience the effects of trash talking is by using the technique of focusing on the controllables. As you can tell in this video, focus plays a big part in trash talking, and by trash talking pulling athletes' focus away from their performance, by focusing on the controllables, athletes can take back their focus and place it on the things that matter and can be controlled. Start simple. If talking trash is affecting an athlete, they should start with the basics of their sport which they can control. Good passing, good communication, being in a good athletic position. By focusing on these controllables, confidence would begin to increase, giving them the ability to perform in a way that will enable them to make their opponent eat their words. Another great way to combat trash talking is through staying in the present. By staying in the present, the effects of trash talking are minimalized, as staying in the present means the athlete is focusing on what is currently happening and not being distracted by past trash talking. This can be very difficult to do, but with practice it can be achieved. I talk about techniques to staying in the present in one of my previous videos, so go check that out to learn more about that mental skill to combat trash talking. So there you have it. Just as physically athletes need skills to counter their opponent's moves, they also psychologically need skills to counter psychological situations experienced in matches. Trash talking is an art that's been around for many years, and it's always great to see hyper-competitive athletes go at it head to head. But that's what I find so interesting about sports. The mental side can have such a massive impact not only on the individual, but on the results of the competition as a whole. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more sports, anime, and sports psychology content just like this.